Legend of War here, and today we've got a rating year 1-man Doomstack covering a Spiteful Ungrim Ironfist. So with the Dwarf update, they've actually made it so that 1-man Doomstacks with the Dwarfs are a lot more viable now, even without the Sword of Cain. So Ungrim Ironfist here doesn't have the Sword of Cain, which I know a lot of people don't want to see more 1-man Doomstacks with the Sword of Cain, although the Sword of Cain would make him stronger in this case here. Now, the main thing that makes Dwarf 1-man Doomstacks viable now is the ability to equip any character with a Master Rune of Spite. Now you can only get one of those Master Rune of Spite, so you got to pick with care to give it to whoever you want to. But I think that Ungrim Ironfist might actually be the ideal candidate, since he is possibly the tankiest of the Dwarf Legendary Lords, with the exception of maybe Grombrindle, but we've already covered Grombrindle in the past. So let's have a look at his resistances. This will determine, you know, how long he's going to last in combat, which means how long he can keep this active. So he's got 45% ward save, 25% physical resistance, so that counts as 70% physical resistance, so he's not too close to the cap. And he's got 75% magic resistance, so he's at the magic resistance cap, but that's less important than physical damage resistance, because the enemies that we go up against here are mostly going to do physical damage, but things like the phoenixes, they are rendered basically useless, and these dragons are pretty much useless against them as well, because we've got some additional fire resistance, 20% fire resistance. So that means we are, these guys here do physical fire damage, which means we are 70 plus 20%, we're at our resistance cap for the dragons. So the fire attack here actually works against them. The most dangerous units being, I suppose, just melee infantry is doing physical damage, I suppose. Anyway, looking at his equipment, he actually doesn't have any of his, well, most of his unique equipment attached. Like, if you have a look at his armor, he doesn't have the Slayer Crown attached. He's got Alaric's armor instead, giving him extra ward saves. That's giving him 20% there. Elfsbane, I don't think this is crucial. You don't need that extra magic resistance to hit the cap. And it does make him stronger against the elves, I guess. But I don't think he really needs that more melee attacks. So, I mean, you could give him the Axe of Dargo, but that's not going to give him any extra resistances either. Kind of could use the Sword of Cain, but then you've got to deal with the drawbacks, which kind of hurt the dwarfs a fair bit. Then you get the Dragon Cloak of Freyskar over here, giving him another 20% ward save. And Horn of the Ancestors, giving him physical resistance 15%. The other character runes is the Master Rune of the Adamant, giving him 20% hit points. And this one over here giving him 5% ward save. So looking at the traits that he's managed to obtain from defeating other legendary lords, he's got Greenskinner there for magic resistance. Okay, there's the Throt one. Throg, Gore Drenched, of course, you got to get that extra hit points. Defeated Isabella, defeated Grimgore, defeated Wurzag, Krokgar, Malice, Queek, Wulfric. That one's not really that important. I mean, bonus versus infantry isn't too bad, I guess. But you don't really need dwarfs to have high charge bonus. Hellebrand, Malekith, Eltharion, that's not really needed though, because you're already at your missile resistance cap, and he's too small to hit anyway. And hit Alithanar, which really isn't needed. The only one I'm thinking of that might have been useful to get would have been Nakai, but Nakai is difficult to get. But also Thorek for the extra weapon strength +3, which probably wouldn't really matter that much. Anyway, let's jump in here and see how Ungrim goes. So in order resolve, it says decisive defeat. So we've also got Nagaroth coming in as well. So all of their forces can come in at the same time. There's gonna be more than 40. Those Great Eagles might actually be a problem, because they're physical damage without being fire. But yeah, you're definitely strong against the elves here. Anyway, let's just see how he goes. I kind of feel like it would be a little bit more fitting if it was Grombrindle. But like I said, we already covered Grombrindle before. I do think that Ungrim... Yeah, because Ungrim's got that extra 20% from the Dragon Cloak of Freyskar, so... I mean, you could get a Talisman of Preservation for 17%. It's a couple of points different. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's going to get the closest to the resistance cap. But if Grombrindle can get to 90% or even 80% without getting the Sword of Cain, he might be better. But I'd have to actually look into it. which I'm not going to. Anyway, let's jump in here and see how we go. So yeah, we just want to send him in. We want as many of the elves to jump into combat with us as soon as possible. We can chuck this one down, but I don't think it's going to really do anything, so I'm not going to use it at all. Hang on, did that actually do no damage? Wait. Is that actually doing no damage? But they've got some armor piercing, right? Yeah, they do. He is actually completely immune from missile attack. I've seen this happen before, but... because, like, his armor is close to the cap, right? But the 4 armor piercing should be coming through. I guess if it's being reduced by 90%, it is actually less than 1. Wow. They're actually doing nothing. Well, you know what? If they're doing no damage to us, then maybe what we should do is try to get them to shoot their own troops. Fight! Just forget about their missile units. They can't do anything to us. Literally nothing. Because I've heard that, alright, let's slam in now. I've heard that armor can block 100% of all non-armor piercing damage, but armor piercing, like the ward save and stuff, can only block 90%. If you add them all up, that's the cap. See, in this case here, we better not to use that, because we need that melee defense to keep us tanky. He's doing more damage just with the Rune of Spite. So that ability there is detrimental to us. Except when dealing with, like, single entities and you want to kill them quickly. Also, it's on large unit scale, so we're not going to rack up as many kills as what Morgr did. Also, Morgr went up against, like, 4 full armies. It is an order. And now we just wait. I don't really have to do much with him because he's melee lords and no spells I can cast. I just keep doing these 2 abilities here. If they cast the fire spells, then I guess that will weaken my fire resistance a bit. Only by a little bit though. Yeah, really need him to target the dragons and stuff. Move to attack! So far so good. Barely taken any damage, and not really inflict. Oh, actually, he's inflicting a lot of damage. He hasn't inflicted a lot of kills yet, though. I guess a lot of damaged units just haven't succumbed to the spite just yet. So I'd use this if it was only a single entity in the way here. Because obviously it would be good to take down the dragon a bit faster. Because it would be better if Ungrim could block the hits. Because like 97 melee defense. The dragon's got like a 10% chance of hitting it. So yeah, focus on the eagle. That'll actually be more dangerous. The dragon's doing some damage to him. Ah, hang on. We're also slightly weak against fire because of regen. So we're actually... that just counteracts the regen. So the dragon is actually doing damage to us. Right. Maybe you should have gone and defeated Imric. I mean, it's probably too late now. He's probably gone. And then with this here, the dragons are... yeah, the fire damage is actually good for him when that's active. Alright. Now we really need the melee defense. Still, he needs the regen. Gotta get his health back. The problem here is that I can't quite get at the dragon because they keep putting other shit in the way. There we go. Dragon going down. Cool. Now the Rune of Spite only activates while he's in melee, so we gotta close in as quickly as possible. Whereas if it was Morgor, we just have to be standing around them. Also, Morgor's a bigger target, so he's a lot easier to hit. Even though he's same classification as being small. So somebody's doing the flammable attack on him, just not sure who. Oh, I see, it's these archers here. The, which one is it? The ones that do fire arrows. Yeah, the Talons of Torquelada. When they hit, it does the flammable, so yeah. If they do that at the same time as casting a fire spell, then I'll actually be severely weakened by fire. Yeah, I want to really try to get rid of the dragons first. I'm not concerned about the phoenixes, because while they do fire attack, they do magic attack as well, and our magic resistance is so high that even with all the debuffs to fire, it's not going to do anything to us. Okay, another dragon down. Good. So how many dragons do I have left? Looks like just 3. Taking a bit of damage. I guess one of the problems with a one-man Doomstack that's just a melee lord, even if you can get it to maximum resistances and make it a mortis engine, the battles can be a little bit boring because I'm not really doing any abilities, I'm just sitting here waiting. But it's so far so good. Racked up 80,000 damage. Okay, Phoenix coming in, I'm not worried about that at all. Yeah, chunking that Phoenix down, it just can't hit us. Well, seem to be recovering now, but he's used up more than half of his regen. Man, this would be frustrating if the AI actually brought this to you. I mean, you can just auto-resolve it. If they only brought Ungrim with one unit. Two dragons at a time's not great. Just focus on them one at a time first. No point damaging them both 50%. They still fight at full potential, so kill them one at a time. Still don't want to use this, I need my melee defense. I just want to get hit as little as possible. Alright, damage done now, 12,000. But he's running close to his regen cap. Well, you know, if we had the Sword of Cain, it would last a lot longer. I'm pretty sure we'll get the Armuluses on them soon.
Ready to strike!
Don't know why I keep bothering with this. He's got perfect vigor. One more hit on this one, he's gone. This one here is just too far away though. He's like his axe can't reach that dragon, but the dragon can reach him, so it's a little bit unfair there. A little bit. I'm just gonna finish him off. Get them down to 90% damage, but then just can't get that last hit in.
The action dagger first. It is an order. Attack the odds.
Okay, come on, go for the dragon. Got a clear shot at it now. One hit, it's down. There we go.
Fight!
Yeah, the infantry are succumbing to their wounds now from the spite. Primarily want him to be targeting the large units in melee as much as possible, because the rune of spite's not going to do much damage to them.
Attack!
And there's the army losses. Right. Oh, those are the army losses for Nagaroth. Not okay, yeah, because they take it at different times. Two different factions, and we haven't quite used up all of our region yet. The battle was over reasonably quickly. 150,000 damage done.
We are broken.
Yeah, I mean, Morgul did better, but Morgul had the Sword of Cain. Just thinking. I mean, you could go and get the Sword of Cain, and it's good that you could manage this without having to do it. Because I know a lot of people don't like the Sword of Cain, including me. Thing is, with the Beastmen though, the Sword of Cain has like no drawbacks whatsoever. And for the dwarves it definitely does, so not picking up the Sword of Cain definitely makes sense.
Beards in belts.
But yeah, it's definitely good. It's for a non-Sword of Cain one-man Doomstack. Since Ungrim's like main sort of army is the Slayers, and he took on two reasonably powerful armies. I'm just thinking, what would actually make this stronger is if you had defeated Imric, just because, especially going up against the elves, the fire resistance here is good and everything, but I forgot about that regenerations causes fire damage as well, so it's sort of negated, but any fire wizards or the talent of Torculator or whatever word that they did cause flammable, do extra damage. And then you just need that extra ward save or physical resistance, which is where you could get it from the Sword of Cain. But yeah, it's still pretty good. So I think he pretty much made this about as good as it can be. Only a little bit extra efficiency could be possibly squeezed out of it from characters that are probably already dead. So it's very unlikely they're going to find that in many of the campaigns, just because you start so far away from them. Like, getting Nakai is very rare, because even if he does come back, he doesn't recommand his hordes, so you need him to actually get confederated into Hexawatl, which is very rare. And then of course Imric dies very early on most of the time, so you could get some extra fire resistance from that. But yeah, apart from that, it's a very good one-man Doomstack. I'd probably rate this like 9 out of 10, just because it doesn't have the Sword of Cain, and did a really good job. But I definitely think that there are better one-man Doomstacks out there, so I don't think it deserves quite a 10 out of 10. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think about this particular one-man Doomstack. Just going through the equipment one last time, and I guess we'll go through the skills. It's pretty obvious when people are making one-man Doomstack, they, you know, go through the melee line completely. The only thing he's missing there is Ancestral Grudge, which would have been useless here anyway, so it's totally fine. So Alaric's Armor, Elf's Bane, which I don't think that really made much difference at all. Dragon Cloak of Freyskar, Horn of the Ancestors, which I didn't use. Could have used it, but, you know, didn't want to use it. Master Rune of the Adamant, of Spite, and the Rune of Luck, to give him all those resistances and if you're going to do a one-man Doomstack, you really do need the Rune of Spite, because otherwise it just takes forever to kill off all of those infantry. Most of the damage he did was thanks to the Master Rune of Spite. And you could do that with any individual character. And if you play as, or if you get Thoric, Thoric can get his own Rune of Spite, so you can get 2, essentially, if you want to do it with him. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this particular one-man Doomstack, whether you agree or disagree with my ratings. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.